Welcome everyone, this is Alex, and let's be honest, all the aviation enthusiasts are there day one for Microsoft Flight Simulator already, but what about everyone else who might be interested in exploring the world with zero experience or knowledge of flying? Well, that's where I come in, because up until a few days ago, the beginning and end of all of my flight experience was this. And all I would really do back then was put in a cheat code to use the Apache, which had machine guns and could fire missiles, because of course I did. Fast forward to now, and a box from Microsoft shows up with a Thrustmaster pendular rudder, a Logitech flight throttle quadrant, and a Honeycomb Alpha Flight yoke and switch panel, which all seem completely daunting from someone who is only used to keyboard and mouse and traditional gaming controllers. I am willing to give any type of game a full fair chance before placing any judgment, however, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to figure out all this crazy stuff that's completely foreign to me. I thought I might as well go all in at this point, hooked up everything, turned off all of the assists to make it as realistic as possible, and it turns out, hey, this is nowhere as intimidating as I thought it was. I had a successful first takeoff, my first 3 landings were actual landings, and it was a little over an hour until I had a slight mishap. Flying is much more intuitive to learn than I thought, at least in a sim, and as soon as you get moving, you quickly realize it's all just normal physics your brain is already probably somewhat in tune with. In other words, I felt pretty confident flying around quite quickly, which allowed me to start seeking out interesting parts of the world. Now, if you're unaware, in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the real Earth is full to explore using massive amounts of true map data, making for easily the largest open world game minus much of the traditional video gaming objectives. You can pick anywhere on Earth to instantly head to, where you could simply explore freeform, scope out and get a feel for a vacation destination before deciding to go there, do a real-time flight path for a flight you're actually going to travel on later that day, or you could seek out historic landmarks from the safety of your own home. What I found myself doing was looking up locations of big landmarks on the web, tabbing back over to the game, finding it on that map, and then, hey, there's pyramids in the correct geographical location you would see them in the real world. You don't always have to be on the move, and if you want to stop and really soak in a location, you have the ability to pause at any time, which makes it really easy to do so. Although you are flying around at what seems like realistic speeds, this can make travel pretty slow in a way, but this is all less about immediate satisfaction and more about relaxation and just vibing out with the Earth itself. As far as traditional video game style things to be working towards, those are somewhat minimal, mostly being just location to location preset flight challenges and landing scenarios that ramp up in difficulty with sometimes tricky weather. These both have leaderboards you can seek out to climb, but outside of that, don't expect any side quests or dynamic events to really shake up the core gameplay. Still, it is called a simulator emulating the entire Earth with real-time weather and flight patterns, which is astonishing in its own right that this thing even exists. Although I don't necessarily feel like I could get a real-life plane off the ground just yet, if someone did happen to hand me the controls while already in midair, I feel like I could control the craft and fly around at least for a little bit, as opposed to immediately plummeting like I would have prior to giving this a go. So ultimately, a success. I learned some of the basics of flying and was able to enjoy the sim for what it is. And hopefully this shed a little more light on something that might seem too daunting for those uninitiated. If this is all brand new to you, let me know your thoughts on Flight Simulator, and if you're an aviation pro, give everyone here some of those useful tips you might be sitting on. As always, this has been Alex from Boomstick Gaming, and have a good one.